Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Behavior management, tips, skills, and strategies. The focus of this video is establishing expectations to clearly articulate and demonstrate the boundaries of pro-social behavior in your classroom. Present a small number of rules. The reason you want to be presenting only a small number of rules is because if you have 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 rules, the students will not remember all of them, and therefore they will not remember your rules. So it is very important to have 1, 2, maximum 3 rules within your classroom. To provide as an example, my 2 rules, which I always have with my students that I'm working with or in my classroom, is number 1, respect. Sometimes I only have 1 rule, and that is respect, because I believe respect covers lots of things. But sometimes I feel like I need to add a second rule because it's just easier for me and easier for the students as well, for them to know what I really expect for them, is no talking when the teacher is talking. And I'm very, very intent on that rule. So that's why I made it as my second rule. And you could use these as well, or you might have different rules which you feel are more effective to your style of teaching and your personality as a teacher. Publish these rules. It's very important for you to take the time to publish these rules. That means that when you get a new classroom or when you get a new group of students, tell them your expectations, tell them your rules. And by doing this, the children will know what you expect. So if you don't tell someone what you want from them, then how are they supposed to give it to you? So that's what I mean by publishing your rules with the students. So for example, if I have a new class and I'm only going to be taking them for that day, I will take the time, the first session, 5 to 10 minutes, take the time to tell them my rules, and then I will publish these rules by telling them this is exactly what I want from you and this is exactly what I want to see from you throughout the day. This can be easily done in a form of a discussion by you actually asking the students, what does it look like to show respect to the teacher? What does it look like to show respect to your peers? What does it look like to talk in a respectful way? And just talking about these for 5 to 10 minutes as a whole group discussion can be very effective. So the next thing to remember is to keep your rules short, keep them clear, and keep them concise. Just going back to my own example, number 1 rule is respect. If I have a second rule, no talking when the teacher's talking. Easy peasy, everyone's going to remember that, and it's not an overload of rules. Draw attention to the appropriate behaviors. Now, this one is a bit tricky and sometimes we forget to do it, but it can actually be quite fun when you're doing it. So drawing attention to the appropriate behaviors would look like praise, verbal praise. When you see a student who is doing what you have asked them and what you expect of them and showing respect to another student or showing respect to you by listening, you acknowledge that and you show them with positive praise that that's what I want, that's what I'm looking for. The next thing is to refer to your rules when they are being followed and not only when they're not being followed. And this goes in line with what we've just discussed. So for example, if a student has a sharpener and they want to give it to another student, they don't throw the sharpener over to the other student. They actually hop up from their desk and walk over, give the sharpener to the other person, and then they take a seat back at their desk. So there's no throwing going on around the classroom. And when I see that kind of behavior, I verbalize it and I make it the best thing in the whole world. Like, I've never seen something so cool and so respectful. I'll be like, wow, I love how Nate walked over to Lisa and gave his sharpener. He didn't throw it across the classroom. That's being so respectful. I love that kind of behavior. That's what I like to see in my classroom every day. Well done, Nate. And that's enough. That praise is enough. But if you feel like giving them a sticker, something tangible, maybe from the prize books or something, go right ahead. And the other students will hear this. Not only will Nate be feeling very proud and very happy for doing the right thing, but the other students will think, oh wow, Mrs. Tamati is really intent on her expectations and she loves it when we do the right thing. So making sure that although that you have to address the negative behaviors or the ones that aren't complying with your expectations and rules, then make sure that you also at the same time are always looking for the positives and looking for something nice to say. Finally, when establishing your expectations, model what you expect. Just as you expect your students to be respectful to you, you must show respect to them. In the next video, I will be talking about the essential skill of giving instructions.